"The time has come," the walrus said, "to put the tools on cleats instead, to pack up things, to insulate, and make the workshop really great." Last night, went to the orange box store and picked up a couple 4x8 sheets of 3/4 inch pine plywood, with the purpose being that I'm going to make French cleats for this wall behind me. Over the course of the last few days, weeks, I've lost track of time now, I went from having a shed style, you can see the studs, into using some old insulation that I had pulled out of another project. It's the only thing I had, but it does have the vapor holes in it. So like technically it's not a 100% plastic thing, which is obviously bad for trapping moisture in the walls. This wall is the only wall in this entire barn that somebody redid the siding on a couple years back before we bought the place. And so it is literally the only wall in the entire barn that has an outside like rain barrier, I guess you would call it, behind the siding. So if you pop the siding off, there's like Tyvek back there. That's nowhere else on the barn. The rest of the barn, you can see through the cracks in the walls, through the siding. So I figured of all the walls I could get working on, this would be the one. So I insulated it, put in that Mylar stuff, and then I put on this OSB sheathing on the inside because you can mount to it regardless of whether there's a stud there. Now the studs on this wall are variable, 24 on center in some places and kind of all over the place because this building is a balloon framed building. I got rid of one window over by where it's painted white right now, and there's another window you can't see in this view. But the primary thing that I'll be working on this week, and maybe getting a video out every other day, is the updates on putting this wall together from basically here all the way down to where the slider door is right now. And I say slider, it's a big barn door that slides back and forth. So I'm gonna find my trusty mask because I don't have dust collection in this building, and I'll wear my glasses and I'll be cutting this down. If you're concerned about the dust collection situation, so am I. Gloves off. Never wear gloves when using a saw. Hell, at this point, never wear gloves when using any radial tool at all. I've made a lot of dust, and I will need to clean that dust up. And all I have is a vacuum, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. Oh, all right. Still cold in here, but that's at least the floor is cleaned up. I don't know if I'll keep the whole thing in there, but I did use my vacuum to just vacuum up an entire pile of sawdust. And it's probably not good for the filter, but for those of you who are like, oh no, he clogged up his filter, just know that I will take that same filter outside with an air compressor and blow it out into the yard so I can reuse it. It's not done. It's not a waste. So the next step in these then is one of two possibles. Either I make the leading edge of the French cleat a little bit softer, like rounded over, or I leave it sharp like it is and not worry about it. And I think I'm inclined to do the latter. I saw a guy's comment that said on one of the other videos that said that you should round these over so they're easier to attach your, like the sister cleat to, essentially. I agree with that, but I also don't want to take the time to do it right now. So I'll probably come back later on once these are all up on the wall and either use a sanding, like a piece of sandpaper, or maybe I'll have like a round over plane, which I don't currently have, but if I do in the future, I'll run a round over plane out on it. So just know if you thought that, just I am in agreement with you on that as well.
A few moments later.
All right, there's the materials I'll be working with. I'm gonna go ahead and set up some space over here as my work space and get the camera moved. Might have to do that section as a separate video, so I only have a little bit of time today. Well, if you want to follow along with me doing this project, I'm gonna split this up into separate I guess maybe 5 to 10 minute increments just to get it out there and get these posted. Thank you for tuning in and checking out what we're doing over here in the barn. We should call it workshop.